what does Las Vegas Republicans, what do the state of Republicans in the state of Nevada have to do to make sure that we are heard? Welcome to Nevada Today. I'm your host, Patrick Casale. Today I will be joined by Chairman Michael McDonald, the state of Nevada Republican chairman, and the longest reigning chairman in the history of Nevada, and the longest reigning chairman in the United States of America. Welcome to the show, Michael. How are you?
Thanks, Patrick. We appreciate it.
This is going to be a big time midterm elections. Huge. How's Nevada going to roll?
I think this is, if you look at what's coming up for us right now, we have the President of the United States was just here. He loves Nevada. He cares about Nevada. He wants to make sure we succeed in Nevada. Everything that's coming our way, if you look at the numbers and the way everything's coming out for our candidates versus the Democratic side, I'm very confident that we're going to have a red wave.
The biggest race in the state of Nevada right now is obviously Dean Heller. Nevada, there is no option. He has to win.
Yep.
How's it looking?
He looks good. I mean, Dean is back to his old self. I've known Dean a long, long time. We're going back when I was a city councilman and he was in the legislature. And if you watch the efforts back then, he's a very personable guy. He's a great guy. He comes across as a great way. He's a graduate of USC. I won't hold that against him because I'm a Notre Dame guy. But when you look at the way it comes across, he's very personable and he gets the job done. If you look at his voting record, he has a conservative voting record, but he works both sides of the aisle. He cares about all Nevadans. And that's the most important thing when you get in the general election. He's not phony. He's not running one side or the other. He's not trying to say, hey, I'm ultra-conservative, I'm ultra-liberal. You saw that in the presidential election. It didn't work. Voters, they saw it, they went through, they shined through, they voted for the right man, President Donald Trump. Same thing's going to happen this election. You look what's going to happen now. Donald Trump is going to be back out to Nevada. We're going to have other surrogates coming out. They're all coming out to show how much emphasis is put on Nevada with Senator Heller, with making sure Nevada's in the right place. Senator Heller wins that election.
So we'll have two senators, one Democrat, one Republican. Mastos is reigning champion right now. She's got a couple more years to go, 2022, I believe. The congressional districts, the advantage is 3-1 the Democrats. Is there any chance that either Danny Tarkanian or Crescent Hardy or both will win their congressional seats?
Absolutely. If you look at the numbers that have been coming out, how much emphasis we brought, I keep saying emphasis because if you look at what the RNC has given us and what the White House has given us is the point. Every time we put something together, that plan has been enacted. We had the first offices opened up in the entire United States. We had first personnel on the ground for the United States. We have more personnel than any other state. We have more money coming through this state. We have more eyes and reputation on this state right now from the White House. So the big push right now is the numbers are moving in our direction. We're getting the message out. The message is coming out and it's sinking in for common sense people. People that are Democrats, people that are actually independents and libertarians are saying, you know what, it makes sense. That message is coming across that it's either you vote Republican, if you vote none of the above or anything else, it's a vote for the other side. So they're looking at it and saying, look, the numbers are crunching. What the president's doing across the United States, it's working. He's making America #1 in the world. Everything's coming in our direction. And the ground game is right here in Nevada. You see what's taking place. We're gaining in numbers.
We have a rematch from the 2014 congressional districts, CD3, or CD4 actually, battle between Mr. Horsford and Crescent Hardy. Hardy beat him surprisingly the first time. He got knocked off by Ruben Kuhn. I think Hardy looks really good in this spot. He's working very hard. And I think he's getting a lot more swing votes that he didn't get before when they ran against Ruben Kuhn. Your thoughts?
Crescent Hardy is probably one of the key players you look at. Here's another guy who works across the aisle. His word is his bond. He's a man of his word. And that's what's important. A lot of Democrats love the way he walks. A lot of Democrats, we just did his office opening. We did the kickoff in Mesquite last week. We had Democrats, we had independents, we had Republicans come out for the kickoff because he's one of the most conservative guys, but he's about making America work and move forward. And if you look at his voting record as well, it also was conservative. He cares about Nevada. He cares about rural America because he's a cowboy. He's been around for a long time. His family was one of the first establishments in Mesquite. But he works the entire district. He works in urban areas when he's in North Las Vegas. We had people that came out that you would be surprised that don't identify with Republicans that are in there. It's like when you look at my cabinet. My cabinet's a rainbow of people. There's no way to identify what a Republican is anymore because we've become so inclusive. We've shown them the way. If you have children, if you care for your parents, you want a better America, Republicans are the one. There's no free handouts in the world. Forget the free handouts. There's no Obama phones, everything else. Somebody's paying for that, and they're starting to realize they were the suckers and the ones that paid the bill.
I talked to Crescent Hardy when the president was here during the convention.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is he was not a Trump believer at the beginning. He flat out told me, he goes, I'm a believer now. He has totally surprised me, and I really think that change, just like Dean, they both changed. They become more Trump people. I think that's going to be a big deal, and I really think because of that, that's what's going to help Dean Heller.
If you look,
Crescent Hardy.
and both of them, it helped both of them, because if you look at the presence behind both of them, it wasn't too long ago I was attacking those two individuals because they were against my president. They were against the candidate. You know, I was one of the original members of the Trump campaign team, so I was very defensive of the president. We came out, they came out on the stage and said we're never going to do it, we're never going to be for him, and they saw the effect. People that went against this president lost. They came around, they made amends, they like what he's doing. This isn't phony. They like what's happening in America.
Success is there.
Success is there. And here's a president that's a man of his word. How many times have you ever heard a politician say they keep their word? You don't ever see that. You don't ever see somebody when they shake their hand and say, I'll be there. I have a guy who's done it to me twice. I can say it publicly. He came out and did the state convention as a candidate, and he came out and did the state convention as a president. No other state has ever had that. No other state party has ever had that. We had it here twice.
Now we go over to CD3, which will be a battle. I mean, Danny Tarkanian has always done pretty good in the primaries, but in the general he struggled. What's going to change this time around?
I like Danny's hit the ground running. You know, he runs as a family effort. I think this time it's more about Danny. Danny's showing the emphasis of he's a true leader. He's able to get out. He's able to get the promises and the commitments he's shown in the past. He's able to show that if you give him that opportunity, he will lead. I think the other elections that he lost weren't. I think he lost for all the wrong reasons. The last election he should have won. That was his.
1 point.
Yeah, that was his to lose. And I think the effect of we had the Never Trumpers in Nevada, that hurt Danny. Because Danny was not a Trump person, but he came there. When he was with Trump, he stayed with Trump. And when everybody else was bailing on the president, Danny stood there strong with me.
Well, I'll tell you what, if we can pull this off, if we can win both congressional seats, we go to 3-1 Republican, we split off with the Senate seats, the rest of the state should be interesting. I mean, we have a big gubernatorial race is huge. I mean, Laxalt, Sisolak, you got Bundy now throwing his name in there. A lot of things happening. I wonder if the Raider Stadium and the parking issues will hurt the Democrats at all.
You know, touch off on a political issue. Look, I'm a huge Raider fan. I joke around, but I love the Raiders. I've loved the Raiders since I was little. I'm very disappointed. We finally get a championship team in the sense of my mind because it's a Raider. I'm a Raider fan. We finally have them coming to Nevada. We have the NFL, and we put it on a piece of property that is so small there's no parking. And then we give money toward the stadium, which is fine. I'm for that in the sense of let's try and help them. We figure we get something back for the community, but the seat tax are impossible. $75,000, $25,000. That was a slap in the face to Nevadans. I'm still a Raider fan. I love the Raiders. I'm very disappointed that there's no parking and we have seat tax, but I'll always support the Raiders. I honestly don't know. I think that's going to hurt a lot of people in the sense of that coming here.
This is Watching Nevada Today. My name is Patrick Cassell, and my guest is Michael J. McDonald. You know, Michael, in the last 48 hours, some serious changes to the state party. Diana Orrak resigned, or she's going to resign.
She's going to resign.
And thinking about who could replace a woman like Diana, who has been so strong and so much a part of your team. And then today we hear Michelle Fiore throws her name in the ring. That's a strong, strong team player right there.
Well, if you look at Diana, and it's sad she's leaving because Diana has been such an integral part of rebuilding the state party. She's a very principled person, very strong person. Her and I have been through Clark County together when we came up through the ranks. She's family. Forget about the board. It's family. Our board is a family. I mean, we have the longest serving board in America that has worked across to rebuild Nevada, and we're number one in the RNC. So when you look at those goals that have been set and matched, anytime you lose a key player like that, it's very hard. And Diana will always stand with her. She's family. She has a place wherever she wants to go. Michelle Fiore coming out today. Long history in Nevada. She's strong. She's very strong. For a candidate, she's helped out so much on items I want to try and get across the goal line with the president. She's been there every time I've asked her to come. She picks up the phone. She can raise money. She's very strong about that. But one thing I think it showed the key to Michelle, she had a very busy schedule. And I had the site selection team from the RNC coming out. We made that bid. You were there.
I know. We'll be getting into that.
We shocked the world on that one. And Michelle was right there. She was right key front and center. Lieutenant Governor Mark Hutchinson was there. Clearly Chris Carr, and then we had the advance team that came out. But she was right there. She answered that call because she cared so much. Pushed everything she else had going in the city council, pushed it aside, and was immediately right there to help us move forward.
You know, the irony is I was there, and when they came in, you made one call, and on 10 minutes notice, she made time. I was shocked. I mean, really, because she's very busy. We went over there, we brought the site committee team over there, and I was really impressed at how she opened up her arms. And she was pretty demanding. Like, she wanted that convention really bad. But in the next segment, I want to go deep into the system of why we didn't get it and how close we were. But, you know, Chairman, when you were back into Washington, there were not Washington, went to Doral in Florida. On 3 separate occasions, you were called and asked not to make the bid. What was that about?
Well, I think in anything you look at that comes across, whether it's a football stadium or something as large as having the national convention, it was an issue that key players, first of all, they laughed at us for going back to the proposal. The average person spent anywhere from $750,000 to $500,000 in the proposal. We didn't spend nearly that, and we were able to walk in there and show 2 aspects: the business aspect as well as the delegate aspect and the reporter aspect. When you look at that, any convention you go to, you want to be on scene, you want to be together. You know, in Vegas, I can put them all on one corner. Forget about it. It's one corner. Imagine that you come here, I got the greatest shops, I got the greatest hotels, I got the greatest meals, everything I have. Vegas, if they come to Vegas, they'll never go anywhere else. Mark my words.
You know, when we come back, we're going to get into it. And if you remember Earl Scheib, when I was a kid, Earl Scheib did a paint job for $99 special. This man almost pulled off the impossible without the bankroll of the Strip. This is Nevada Today. I'm Patrick Casale. When we come back, we're going to talk more about why we didn't get the RNC convention for 2020 and how much money the state of Nevada and the city of Las Vegas lost because of this debacle. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Nevada Today. I'm Patrick Casale. We're joined here by Michael McDonald. You know, Michael, the last segment we were ending it off. I really want to get into the weeds on this RNC thing because I was involved. I was in the room, and I will sit here and tell you, when you were giving your presentation, the thing that blew my mind is you said, you know, I could have brought in showgirls. I could have brought in Elvis. I could have spent a lot of money, but why do I have to? Let me ask you guys a question. Where does the Country Music Awards hold their convention? Las Vegas. But where's their home? Nashville. Where does Charlotte, NASCAR, where is their convention being held? Las Vegas. Yet, they're from Charlotte. You battled them, and all of a sudden, the whole room was leaning forward. I think if you brought that to the 168, do you think Nevada wins?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, that's just the way it goes. First of all, I can't thank the RNC. First of all, the presentation. The proposal actually was sent to LVCVA, not to me, or they didn't give us a heads up. They sent it out, which now I think they know better this next time. 2024, Las Vegas. When you look at what was sent out, it went to LVCVA. LVCVA immediately responded, said, no, we're not interested. We don't have the rooms. We don't have the availability. And that was sent back out. So then I started poking around, saying, hey, where's the proposal? Where's the proposal? Where's the proposal? And they said, well, we already got a response from LVCVA that they don't want the convention. So they sent me the letter, I looked at it, and I kept it confidential. I mean, there's no reason to start a firefight. I looked at it, and then I started going meeting with people. I met with representatives from the Venetian, I met representatives from the Wynn, met representatives from the TI, met representatives from Caesar's Palace, met representatives from MGM, and everybody says, no, we never said that. And I went, really? Okay. Then I met with members of the Chamber of Commerce, which you're familiar with, your friends of yours, and their leadership. I said, did you guys say you don't want the convention here? They said, no. I met with elected officials. And this is the most ironic thing, and this is where it shows how great Nevada is. Most of our boards are not Republican, they're Democrats.
Right.
There's only a few scattered Republicans. Entire county commissions, all Democrat. We have the city council with only a few Republicans. North Las Vegas, same thing. So Henderson, same. When you look at the true leadership, we have great leaders in the state, even though they may not be from my party, but I give them this respect. When I made that proposal, even Senator Reid, not one of them came out against the proposal. Not one. Not one. But in Charlotte, the city council was divided. We only lost by one vote. It almost didn't go to Charlotte.
6-5 vote.
6-5, whatever it was, something like that. 6-5, whatever. It was one vote off. So when you look at the people who do business in Las Vegas, we know it's about the business. I wanted both conventions here. You know that. I wanted the Republican Party first, the Democrats, but I wanted them here to showcase Las Vegas because I know for a fact no one does it better. So when you saw that start to take effect, we started to see the shine come off the penny and say, wait a minute, why did someone clip this thing and why did it go forward? So, there's no real answer to say why. I'll defer back to you.
All I know is that the RNC convention and the DNC is held in the summer months, late July, early August, the dead time of Las Vegas Strip. You're talking about a minimum $500 million in revenue.
Right.
Our investment, $60 million, maybe $80 million. We get back 500.
That's stuff I have to raise.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, if you pulled off the RNC and then the DNC, the Strip gets over $1.3 billion, and the cost of having back-to-back conventions would have been minuscule.
Correct.
Now, the DNC is not coming here either, but that was your thought. Your thought was from now on it should just be in Vegas because there is no place better than Las Vegas. But on the flip side, and that leads me, as much as it was a bipartisan support for you, and maybe we didn't have the bipartisan support we needed to get that convention, it's interesting because when you look at a Harry Reid and his machine of getting out the vote and whatnot, what does Las Vegas Republicans, what do the state of Republicans in the state of Nevada have to do to make sure that we are heard, that there isn't a possibility of voter fraud? I mean, what are we going to do? Let
me defer back to the last. You said something I didn't finish up on, and I'll answer that question.
Please.
I'm glad you asked that. If you look at what happened at the convention, I want to give total respect to the nominating committee and our chairwoman, Ronna McDaniels, and her leadership because they did not have to allow me to make that proposal down in Texas. And you were there. You said 3 people. There was 3 times they said, look, don't make the proposal, don't make the proposal. Once we got inside, we actually swayed that board. They did lean forward. We had members of the family, the Trump family were on our side.
Right.
We had leadership from the Trump campaign on our side, from the old Trump campaign. They sat right next to us when we made the proposal. So it went from a joke as, there's no way we're going to get this convention to, oh my God, they might get the convention. And then, wow, they're a serious contender. So that showed as we move forward. When I talk about the bipartisan support, it shows that the leadership that we have in this state with our elected officials, they do put Nevada first in that aspect when they got to that point. But I had to pull it out from behind the curtain, which then goes to who was behind the curtain killing it. That's deeper in the weeds, which maybe I'll come back and cover that. But you have to look at what something we talked about earlier when you talk about the Reid machine. I've known the senator since I was 5 years old. I mean, it was just Vegas was that big, and that's the way it was. But the first election against him and John Ensign almost beat him.
I remember that well.
And he's right there said he's never going to let that happen again. And he built a machine second to none. He built a machine they took nationally, and the Democratic Party used it. In Nevada, what he's able to do is they bust people and they go and they work with the unions and this and that. I've been able to go inside the unions and say, you know what, the reason you're a union member is because you care about your family. You want your family to have a better life than you do, correct? You want your children to have more than you had, correct? You want to make sure you have job security, good health care, correct? Yeah. So you're following the wrong rabbit down the rabbit hole. The Democrats have done nothing to provide that. All they've done is bring you down and put you closer to your knees that you have to serve a bigger and larger government. And what showed that was the insurance. When the insurance started going crazy, the Democrats couldn't hide behind it anymore. They couldn't behind, hey, we're going to read it, and then we'll let you know what's in it. Because once that bomb hit, they couldn't defend it. Now, our message is when I went inside the unions, I said, listen, you need to look at more for a fact. Forget how your union bosses tell you how to vote. You need to stand up and be a man or woman for yourself, and more importantly, for your family. I'm not saying get rid of the union. I'm a union guy. In the respect that you have a right to have a good pay, a good wage. That's what I respect that. But what I don't respect is when you walk in a booth and go, okay, here's how I'm supposed to vote, and you go down without learning the research, learn our candidates, and that's what I started getting people into. When people started to realize Senator Heller, what he stood for, Mark Amodei, what he stood for, Crescent Hardy, what he stands for, Danny Tarkanian, what he stands for, when you start to look at Laxalt, what he's fighting for, when you start talking about Michael Roberson, you start going down tickets, each of them, what Michael Roberson stands for, Bob Beers, Crescent and Crescent Hardy, as I mentioned earlier. When you start to take that into effect, we have the better team that's going to fight for Nevada.
Well, you bring that up. But the voter fraud has been a big conversation. We had this. There were several people who voted more than once. There's an investigation in Nevada. How does Las Vegas protect themselves? How does the state of Nevada protect themselves? How can we avoid people voting that shouldn't be voting?
Well, it's a great point. And a good friend of ours, Rob, was talking about earlier. How do we combat the unions and the busing and all that stuff? I'll let a key secret out. If you look at Twitter today, you see that I've got people coming in from other states. I got other parties that are coming in from Utah, from California, from Arizona, where it's red, red, red. They're coming in to help us succeed. Now, I don't ever give away my key secrets, but they're on Facebook right now and Twitter saying we're coming to Nevada to help out Michael McDonald. I can't deny that, but that's a page that we've looked to say we have to have more troops to get the message out. It's hard to have a walker that gets paid against a walker who's a volunteer. If you're getting paid, it's a lot easier to do it because you're providing for your family. If a volunteer, which we have Republican Party, we have to work and then come out and volunteer. That's been our downside. So what I've been able to do is work with RNC nationally, with the White House and the RNC and the other surrounding states, which I have great relationships with, and they're sending us. I got people coming all the way from Texas. I got people coming from Montana. I got people coming from Ohio that are coming out here to spend weeks upon weeks upon weeks and walk to volunteer for my people. So that's saying that right there, that's going to be the smashing combat. Now we're behind the numbers. We're behind numbers just by
small percentages.
And you start to look at we're gaining because the messages are sinking in. When you start to look at the message each of our candidates have, it shows, guys, get off your knees, stand up, be accountable, help us take America back.
All right, so there's a rumor that this vice president will be here in August.
That's a good rumor.
Very good. And then I hear there's a possibility in October we may even see the president here one more time.
That's a good possibility.
What other chairman in the country can make those statements? And what other president in history has ever campaigned so hard for his team to win?
I think, look, I've been involved in this party since I was 18. I've never seen a president as this passionate toward Nevada. I'm lucky to have a relationship I do with him, but more importantly, we're lucky to have a board. People talk about term limits or this and that. There's no such thing as term limits when it comes to a party board because stability is what moves the ball forward. When you look at a national level, they want to be able to say, you know what, I trust in Nevada because I know how they're going to react. I know what they're going to say. I know there's reliable. I know if we send them money, $450,000, whatever, that is going to come out to be sent to help them out. It's not spent on people squandering around in different areas. We take the money that we get from our donors and we put them back into other communities. We put it in the small areas. We put it in the small counties that we have. We have 17 counties overall. So we have 15 of them that are rural communities. We make sure each one of those communities have an opportunity to fight.
It's funny. We have about a minute and a half to go here. Let me just say this. I have walked in your shoes next to you, and I would not want your job, okay? The last 2 years, I've traveled the entire state of Nevada. I've seen Nevada like I've never seen any other state in the union. And even New Jersey or New York. And I will sit here and tell you, what you do, the time you put on the road, trying to meet and make sure that we're in the position we're in. The relationship you have in Washington with the staff of the White House, and I've witnessed it, I've seen it. When you walk into a room, Corey Lewandowski comes up to you, gives you a hug. Bossie gives you a hug. Pascal, they all know you. For you to be pushed aside, somebody to replace you has to really be engaged. And there's nobody in Las Vegas, the state of Nevada, involved in politics on that level, unless it was maybe a Dean Heller if he retired. Other than that, who else could fill your shoes? And I say that sincerely because I see how hard you work. We have about 40 seconds.
I didn't know I was getting kicked out. But
but I'm not saying you're going to get. No, but there are people who talk about term limits.
That's fine.
Foolish.
Look, but see, they don't know. They don't know the job. They don't know what it took to get here. They don't know the history. How much this board has fought to put us into place, to put us in the position we're in now. At the national convention 8 years ago, we were behind a fence post. Last year, we were sitting second place. This year, we're sitting first place. We're going nowhere. Nevada's number one right now. And I can't tell you, I'll do whatever it takes for this president. This president's not only a friend of mine, a personal friend of mine, he's one of the greatest leaders. I think the greatest leader America has ever had.
Chairman, I can't thank you enough for starting off our series here, for being on the show. And let me say this to you, the viewers. I was in the war room when the president got elected. This man gets a picture from the president saying thank you, holding up a Big Mac. Couldn't do it without you. Thank you for joining Nevada Today. My name is Pat Casale. Catch us every week here on Amazon or Roku. Thank you.